I asked him, will you not be Joshua? Because people are looking for Joshua. They are calling you Joshua. And I reminded him a meeting we had been to called Kinamba, at a place called Kinamba in Nyahururu, where on our way back, people were waving, of course, the presidential motorcade and calling him Joshua, 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 Joshua. So I told him, they are calling you Joshua. You must agree, you must accept to be Joshua and take these people to the promised land. If you don't, then you leave them in the desert. Finally, after Moi refused to commit himself. He refused to say yes or no. He just looked at me blankly, like I didn't know what I was talking about. Yeah. And he ended up our conversation, which took quite a number of hours, by warning me that I should not wake up sleeping. Let sleeping dogs lie, or you lie yourself. Au sivyo utalala mwenyewe. So I didn't take it seriously, but I would later remember that warning, usiwaamshe walalao, because I ended up he ended up detaining me for almost 9 years.
Same.
Just to try, in an effort to try and silence me. But I didn't give up, because once you start a journey, it makes sense for you to complete it. And I still believe that Kenyans are entitled to much more than they have had so far. And I believe that when some of us dream of going to the promised land, dream of becoming a developed country, a first world country, when we dream of having a heaven on earth, these things are not impossible. Some of us have been to Scandinavia, and I keep on saying, anybody who doesn't believe that a heaven on earth is possible, let them go to Scandinavia and see for themselves. Yeah. And if these people have been able to create a heaven on earth, why can't we? We are not less endowed mentally than they are. The only thing that they probably beat us with is leadership. They have better leadership than we do. Because what else can explain? We have resources, we have people, our people are determined to live like anybody else, and yet we never get where we want to go. And in fact, we have lost so much that we are now used to losing, to being a people that have lost. You have adapted. There is a Swahili proverb that says, aliyetota hajui kutota. If you have become wet with big rain, and somebody offers you an umbrella, sometimes you say, I don't need it now.
Yeah.
I better walk the way I am, even in the rain, up to home, then I can dry there eventually. So this looks to me like this is what we have become as a people. The majority of us, not all of us, because even as I talk about failure of our leaders to take us to the promised land, I know that people have not given up. You cannot really give up as a human being. You cannot surrender to problems and say, now, so be it. I want to die in poverty. I want to die in hunger. I want to die in homelessness. You want to improve your life, and this is really what our people have always wanted. And especially today, because they see pictures of other societies on their TV screens, and when they see what they see, I'm sure they say, this is what we have always wanted to have. But now we have reached a point where most people have given up.
They've given up.
And many others think that when you are talking about these things, you don't mean it. Because otherwise they should have had these things long time ago. So when I look at life now, when I look at critically at what we got after independence, which was self-rule with the dictatorship. Our dictatorship was cruel, was very bad. And I think that this is something that young people ought to know, because they don't know. They didn't live it. They have been born after. And the dictatorship that we got, which was a black apartheid system, taken over from the white apartheid system that we had during colonialism, it was horrible. It was horrible. We wanted to be free. We didn't want to substitute white masters with black masters. You know, we didn't want to be just as hungry under our own leadership. We felt even more betrayed that it's our people that were treating us the way they were. So we are proud that we fought. We are proud that we brought down that dictatorship. It's not completely down.
The fight should continue.
Yeah, because
not a continual.
Yeah, because for instance, papers are covered with the story of people being killed in Nairobi. That lady Wambui, Kamangara. You cannot forget Kamangara was a fighter. Was one of those people who were detained. And now we have the daughter being killed. There is the other lady who was also killed. And these extrajudicial executions are what we were fighting against. We never thought they would come back. And I keep on saying, these things are so bad that we shouldn't be talking about them today. I remember years back when I was in Parliament, I think it was in 1980 or 81. In 1981 or 82, I remember Charles Jonjo had given out an order to the police to shoot to kill suspects. And I did a motion with which I intended to have that instruction that was given by Jonjo to the police withdrawn. Because how do you tell the police to shoot to kill, you know, and you and the people being shot to be killed have not been taken to court and proven guilty? So I took my motion to Parliament, and Moi did not want that matter debated. So they started putting pressure on me to withdraw the motion, and I refused until we went to Akamukonji. And I was very surprised that there had been several motions that Moi wanted withdrawn. One of them was that of mine of stopping extrajudicial killings. There was another one where Mwishege was trying to have a shorter working week, and Moi did not like that. Shikuku had a motion also now, which I remember, cannot remember off the cuff. But when Moi came to my motion, he said that he is ordering the AG to withdraw that motion, because even the president doesn't have the power to order police to kill anybody without trial. Of course, we were overjoyed, and I was very happy that afternoon to withdraw my motion after the Attorney General had made a statement asking that withdrawing the statement, the instruction from the police. But of course, after some months, Moi again brought back the instruction. He asked the police again through another. He did it in a public rally. So it's like somebody had persuaded him to go back to the same thing.
Yeah.
So when I let me say this, as I said, we are a lot better than we were.
Yeah.
Under one-party dictatorship. It was horrible. Some of us were watched, monitored 24/7. I remember the police came even up to, just to the path that I take when getting home. And they would park there 24 hours. When I was in Nairobi, the same thing. They followed. When I was coming from Nairobi to Nakuru, I was followed everywhere, all the way. And so it was a terrible kind of life. Life in prison was horrible. I saw two lecturers today being given compensation. Edward Oyugi and Kamoji Washira for the tortures that they suffered under one-party dictatorship. So we had a horrible existence. We should never have lived under such a life. It was not fair, because we are human beings too. But the fact that we overcome most of that cruelty, most of the torture, we are able to congratulate ourselves somewhat. It was not for nothing that we suffered so much.
For sure, we congratulate you guys.
And 13 years that we stayed in is a long time.
It's a long time.
No freedom should be bought for that much.
It's
it's just too long. But again, the choice is dire. You either fight or you live a slave to the end of your life.
Mheshimiwa.
Asante sana.